all the recent talk about Conor McGregor potentially getting a title shot next over Justin Gaethje, many fans have called out the special treatment that Conor has been receiving from the UFC. In a sit-down interview with Daniel Cormier, Dana White explains the reasons why Conor receives so much special treatment from the UFC. Watch this.
I mean, if you look right now at the rankings, Conor McGregor is ranked number 9 in the world. So who the hell knows what this thing's gonna look like by the time he comes back? So I couldn't honestly answer that question. Will Conor McGregor get a title fight?
No, I'm not saying right away, but like you won't have to go 6, 4, 5. You don't know. You don't know.
And listen, Lorenzo and I went to dinner the other night, and one of the things that Lorenzo was saying, and I've said it publicly a million times, Conor McGregor literally would fight anybody.
Yeah, he always has.
I'm telling you, when we started this thing, and this guy was on his rise, and believe me, I've dealt with 1,000 fighters. So, this isn't the right fight for me at this time. This isn't that. This isn't this. This fucking kid, I think it was when Jose fell out. He literally, this is what he said to us. I don't give a who you get. I'm going to work out. When you figure it out, call me and let me know.
Really?
Yeah, and then the Nate Diaz fight. You know, another fight fell out for him. He said, well, let's fight Diaz. Do you want to do, no, I don't want to catch weight. If I don't fight him at his weight, it doesn't matter. It's bullshit if I don't fight him at his weight. You know, I want to fight him at his. Conor McGregor has been that guy since the day he walked into this company. So for anybody to point the finger and say, oh, this guy's getting special treatment, this guy's special. This guy's fucking special. You know how many fighters I've fucking dealt with that'll talk to me about, this isn't good for my brand, I'm not fighting my friends.
Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje met face-to-face for the first time earlier this month at UFC 269. It was a respectful encounter between the two fighters.
I said that was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, nothing but respect, honestly. Só respeito por você, só respeito por você.
But just recently, Charles Oliveira has called out Justin Gaethje for being fake. Because minutes before meeting him, Charles says Justin Gaethje was talking about breaking Oliveira's face in.
Give no disrespect to Charles. He is now the undisputed champion, and I can't wait to break his face. He gets hit a lot. He better pray and hope for the next however many days until our fight that he takes me down, gets his choke, because if not, we see what happens.
Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Oliveira had this to say about Gaethje, quote, Justin Gaethje is talking a bunch of crap the entire time, and then when we meet face to face, he says he has all the respect for me and what I do, and 2 minutes later he's saying he'll break my face and saying a bunch of stuff. These guys hype things up and try to sell the fight with something they are not. If you're a humble guy, if you're a respectful guy, you have to sell the fight that way. If you're a guy that talks crap, you have to sell the fight talking crap the entire time, to my face and behind my back. End quote. Justin Gaethje saw these comments and fired back on Twitter. He said this, quote, it's called respect, you fool, and we are in the breaking faces business. My respect that night was just as real as my intention to take everything from you in your country. End quote. Sean Strickland has accused Israel Adesanya of using steroids. Back in September 2020, when Israel fought Paulo Costa at UFC 253, many people noticed Israel had a bit of gyno on his right pec. Adesanya later claimed that marijuana use was the reason for his swollen pectoral muscle. Now, speaking to MMA Junkie, Sean Strickland accuses Adesanya of cycling wrong and jokingly says he wants to do steroids with him and his team.
I do everything in my power to get to a title shot, and if it happens, let's go, Izzy. I'm ready, man. Make sure to cycle off, though. I don't want to bring you a bra if you don't hit the right cycle. Again, Izzy's a great fighter. He comes from kickboxing. Have you ever seen a fighter with gyno for any other reason than that? Have you ever seen a fighter in the UFC that smokes weed that gets gyno? Ever. You can't, because it doesn't happen unless you cycle wrong. And I mean, that's a fact. We all know it. But regardless of the fact, Izzy's a great fighter, juiced or not, and that's the fight I want. Izzy, I'll come over to you. We can watch anime. You can put some testosterone on my ass. I'll do it with you. Let's go. With a needle, I think you guys do the stomach, right? Is that what you guys do? The stomach? I don't know. You're the expert of steroids. How is it done?
Cub Swanson recently knocked out Darren Elkins 2 weeks ago and announced that he will be moving down from featherweight to bantamweight for the future. Speaking to Fight Nation Radio, Cub Swanson says he was inspired by Jose Aldo's recent success at bantamweight.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, 135 might be one of the best divisions in the UFC, if not the best division right now. There's just so many good guys. I just like the way that my body matches up A lot of my training partners are 35ers, like good size 35ers. And yeah, so I mean, it's kind of comfort. It's the size of guys I work with a lot. And I feel like the 45ers keep getting bigger. And me, since I've gotten a little older, I've not wanted to be so heavy. And so I'm naturally lighter than I was for the good chunk of my career. This was actually one of the easiest weight cuts. So yeah, I think I could make it. And I'm definitely inspired by Aldo, seeing the resurgence of his career. I don't think I'll be doing it for too much longer, but it's exciting to get some fresh matchups.
Dan Hooker and Jon Jones had a heated exchange on Twitter this past week about the Chael Sonnen situation. After news broke out about Chael Sonnen's alleged hotel brawl, Brendan Schaub spoke directly with Chael Sonnen and explained that Chael was detained for defending his wife from a drunk guy. When Dan Hooker saw Brendan Schaub's explanation, and this is what Hooker said on Twitter, quote, "Imagine beating up 5 people and not one of them is your wife. Jon Jones right now is mind blown," end quote. Jon Jones did see this and responded to Hooker. He said, quote, "Dan Hooker, every opportunity you've had to make a name for yourself and be closer to your boy Izzy, you dropped the ball. You can't achieve greatness, so you hop online and attack someone who has. Sounds about right," end quote. And for the final exchange of this beef, Hooker fired back. He tweeted this, quote, "I was triggered by your disingenuous attempt to bring attention to Chael's situation. He was arrested for defending his wife. You were arrested for assaulting yours. Apples and oranges. Life hack: if you don't beat up your wife, family events will be more enjoyable. Merry Xmas," end quote.